some crazy ones where, right in the beginning, I'm like, oh my God, launch is amazing. That's what we use, launch service. But then it kind of slowed down. And I think the truth is that, the direct mail is probably the best avenue when you start to generate money.
Yeah. And that might scare people originally because they say like 10K, oh God, it depends on your market. It's because our markets are so high, it is like 9,000, 10,000 out here for direct mail. That's just what it is to be able to get a deal. And it's not going to be like your first 10K. Like you might need to put out 20, 30, 40K and then
Hello, you're listening to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, presented by Brandon Elliott. This show will be going over all aspects of real estate investing and is intended to educate, motivate, and prepare you to take action on your first or next real estate investment. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Thank you for listening and enjoy.
What's up, Facebook? Hope you guys are all having a blessed day. I'm really excited. We have some special guests in the house today. We're going to be doing another behind the scenes for recording for Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. What that means is wherever you listen to your podcast episodes, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You'll get the newest notification every single Monday. And then after listening to a few episodes, leave that 5-star review. Greatly appreciate all the love and support as always. And because we are doing this raw edition for you guys on Facebook here, make sure you guys are interacting with us. You guys know Facebook's algorithms, get the thumbs going up like crazy, do the little hearts all day. And if it's a bad day, a little sad face. But put in the comments below where you guys are coming in from and what you guys are most excited about in real estate right now. If you guys are doing wholesaling, we're going to be covering how to really make the most out of your appointments and even be able to get everything kind of covered to take care of, bring in additional income to take care of your ad spend. So some powerful stuff we're going to go over, but really excited. So share this out. Sharing is caring. Share this out. Tag somebody in it that needs to see it. Friends, family, significant other, business partner, whatever it may be. This is going to be next level stuff. And put in the comments below if you have any questions for Jason or Mike or myself, and we'll get back to you at the very end. All right, boys, you ready?
Let's go.
Let's go. I'm excited. I said go. Let's go. All right. Welcome back, everyone, to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Brandon Elliott. I'm excited today. We got two legends in the game. They've been doing it for years now, but what's really cool is they're in the Boston market. I met them in the boardroom mastermind group that we're all a part of for real estate mostly. But obviously, when we're in there, we're talking about credit. Needless to say, these guys are gangsters with what they're doing. They really focus on wholesaling, but they really make the most out of all of their deals. So what we're going to cover today is never leaving like an appointment go to waste, really making the most out of every single appointment. The ad spend that you're putting to be able to get people to call you and want to book that appointment, might as well make the most out of it. So these guys are doing some creative stuff to be able to bring in extra income, to be able to cover the ads. And they got a 70, units in total that is bringing in some great cash flow. They're doing some retail methods at the end and so much more in between. So the partnership, I believe, has been for about 4 years now.
Yep.
Yeah. But without further ado, Jason, Mike, what is happening, boys? How we doing today?
Awesome. We're happy to be here.
Yes. Let's go. So let's kind of just cover like the little intro. Anybody out there that doesn't know who you guys are, where you guys from, what you guys are up to, do you mind just diving in that 30,000 foot view? Jason, you could go first and then Mike dive in after.
Absolutely. So I got started in real estate way back around 2001. I'm right outside of Boston. So I know, we're a national podcast, so don't mind the Boston accent here. All right. But
we love it.
Anyways, my family ran a pizza place on Revere Beach, which is the first public beach in America. It's right outside Boston, Mass. I'm working, sweating like you wouldn't believe during the summers. I'm like, there's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
And I literally got involved and started in real estate because I wanted to be able to go out after work and hang out with girls and friends and stuff like that. I wasn't like, oh, this is going to be a great career or anything. I'm just like, can I get a job where I don't stick like pizza? And I mean, as simple as that. So I got my license, a local Century 21 real estate office in my town, and just started doing brokerage. and I fell into my first investment deal relatively quickly. It was what we call a house hack type of a deal.
Yep.
And it was a pizza delivery driver who was
No
like, hey,
kidding.
you want to buy a house? So I'm like, sure. So I got involved brokerage and investment in my first year. And I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
And then it comes in later. But funny story about that. And maybe a tip of not what to do. But I was about to close on that deal. And if you remember 2001, literally the week of my closing was the September 11th tragedy. So
oh, wow.
like freaking out. And literally I was like, I can back out. I should back out. I'm not nervous. My first one ever.
Wow.
And a lot of people I think would have, but I was like, I pushed forward and I'm like, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it. Yeah. I did it. One of the best things I ever did. Fast forward about 8 months later, house hacked that house. Got my first big rip, was like $80,000. I'm like, this is great. And I had to go on vacation for 3 months, buy a Corvette. So what not to do? But that's how I got started.
That's what you did originally?
I did that. And I can tell you right now, it's not, I had a blast. It was fun.
Yeah.
But knowing what I know now, absolutely would double down and, but.
It's a good story though. I do like that. The first thing when you were mentioning you're working in the pizza place and that you just wanted something bigger and better, you wanted something more, I naturally thought of like Scarface, like coming as a refugee, like coming over and thinking like, man, I quit. It's so funny. But Mike, tell me about your situation. Did you buy the Ferrari as well or the Corvette and get out there and do some crazy stuff or what?
Well, unfortunately, my story is not as exciting as it is Jason. Got my license for real estate, selling and buying houses. I think it was like 2013, 14, but I didn't really like do anything in the beginning. But I kind of fell into it and I ended up buying a 2-family. It was around 2010. And I almost bought a condo, but I kind of fell into buying a 2-family because I love the idea about the rental coming in. And I'm like, okay, this is great. I was like 23 years old. I'm like, I'll have money that help me pay the mortgage. I mean, little did I know that was like the best thing that I ever could have done, because the equity and leverage I created from that is just, it's crazy. And I use that as a tool to kind of get started. So like my big push for everybody in the beginning anyway, is find a way to, tap into some kind of funds, whether it's FHA or credit cards or anything that you can do to get yourself into your first multifamily property, to start like your initial portfolio to kind of grow your business. So that's kind of how it stemmed a little bit. And also in the meantime, being a real estate agent, I worked full time in the jail in Concord, Massachusetts. And, I had a painting company full time and I started buying multifamilies right there. So, in that whole meantime, I was able to, kind of see the big picture a little bit slower. And I ended up, seeing the equity grow in the multifamily. And then I borrowed off the multifamily to get into my first flip. One thing led to the next. I connected the dots with the right people. Me and Jason hooked up 4 or 5 years ago, and we just kind of put our minds together. And, little later, we're flipping over 10 houses a year in the Boston market. Some pretty big margins with that.
Yep.
And we're in cruise control now. Like you said before, we joined the boardroom. That's where we hooked up. And, it's just a bunch of great like-minded minds kind of just getting it in,
I love it. I want to hear about that first deal, just the numbers for a second. But, you mentioned multifamily and recommending people just getting started to dive into some multifamily. I know that you guys have some big doors right now and you're starting to compound that and kind of like double into those, which is amazing. So we can talk about that in the coming minutes. But talk to me, do you recommend somebody just getting started to go for more like residential multifamily or like bigger multifamily? Obviously, the name of the game that you were kind of referring to is really just leveraging, like leverage, get into something and try to get the FHA, get the, use credit, use whatever to have little down, get your feet in there. And then if you're in the right markets and you're buying in good locations, the appreciation will take care of you. The cash flow will take care of you like it has for you over the years.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I totally agree with that method of, trying to put as least money down as possible. It's so scary and daunting to take that first step. Like tenants, I don't know who to call to do this. Like, it's like you're almost in panic mode, but like you need to take that initial step to get there. Right. So, and then as you do it, you learn from other people, and you take in from plumbers and all your subs you need and stuff like that. And it's kind of like growing pains. And then eventually you just get a good feel for, how to do the next one. So the initial step's the toughest, but once you take a leap, I mean, you're in the battle. So,
yeah.
Only up from there, but you're not going to give up, right?
Do you guys think residential multifamily would be beneficial, or like starting somewhere, or kind of just jump into the big leagues?
Yeah, definitely residential, because you can use the owner-occupied loans available to get in with a very small amount of money. And I'll give you an example on my first one, right? We have what's called ADUs, in-laws.
Yeah.
So even though it was a single family, it had an additional unit.
Yep.
On my first one, the way that worked, I was able to get in for little or no money. At the time, they had a different product I don't know if it's available now, but it was called a Nina. And I didn't need to actually prove my income or my assets.
Yeah.
So being young and working for the family pizza place, you know how that is. So anyway, I was able to buy that first house. It was cash flowing when I bought it because it was rented out. Even though I bought it as an owner occupied, my plan was to move in. But that actually really never happened. I was able to keep that for about a year. It cash flowed, paid all the bills. It grew in equity. And then, so I was making a little cash flow through the time I owned it. And then the big payout when I sold it. So it was a really great stepping stone for sure. And I'm sure it's similar with Mike, right?
Yeah, similar with me. Like that first two family, eventually I got the equity in it and I was able to do some flips off of it. But I found out one of my favorite things is a 1031 exchange, because I ended up turning the 2 units into 15 units. So the cash flow went immensely from that. And everything kind of just spirals, but like you're not going to get anywhere unless you don't just punch it in and try to get into that first one. So, I love offering guidance to anyone trying to get started. There's a lot of people talk about it, but, those who act are the ones that succeed.
Yeah, that's good. God, so many things to peel apart here. I feel like so good. For the 1031 exchange, for example, any pros or cons that you kind of looking back at it that you think you would have done differently, or somebody, just about to do that, actually they should keep in mind of?
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, Jason, if you have anything on that, and I'll add to it.
Well, there's the cons is this. You have to be ready to identify your next property in a certain time frame.
Yeah.
All right. You have to have a little bit of planning and execution for it to work, right?
Sure.
And the biggest pro is obviously the tax advantages, being able to roll the profit from one into another without having to pay taxes. So you can actually level up much quicker and faster by utilizing the 1031.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Instead of getting, paying all the capital gains of that appreciation that just, took place, you can just roll it over, pay it down the line, and be able to take all that money instead of paying Uncle Sam and actually get something bigger and better.
Yeah. Never pay Uncle Sam. Just keep rolling it over, increase the cash flow. I mean, that's the name of the game. And I was hung up on the beginning of it. I was in the mindset of, okay, I'll just pay this one off and I'll just collect, $3 or $4 grand a month. But then I looked with the equity in it and I said, well, if I buy 15 units, it's going to be nerve wracking. Yes. But then I'm going to probably be 3 times X that 4,000 coming in a month from a family. So, I mean, going back, I used to take videos. Okay, this is the scenario of this, and this is the scenario of this. I'm just happy that I took that leap, because you don't want to leave that much equity on the table. You want to keep pushing it as much as possible when you can.
Yeah. Mike, do you remember that first deal, the numbers, and how long you guys actually held on to your properties, that first one before selling?
That first one, I held on for a little bit, actually, because I used it as leverage for some flips that I did. I took a line of credit and actually doing the work. I used credit cards to just try to make do in the beginning, right? Because
you're a smart man. That's why. You're smart man.
You get points for it. It definitely can work in that sense. Like, anyways, is a good way. So if you have a good
just
deal,
figure it out. Take action. Yeah.
We figure it out. There's no choice. But I forget what I was saying.
What were the numbers on that first one?
Oh, okay. The numbers on the first one, so I sold the 2-family for $615, and I think I had $315,000 worth of equity in the property at the time. Yeah, so I ended up buying a 7 and an 8, which is 15 units I believe it was between the two of them at the time, it was 7 and 1.6. So I went from, owning a 2-family to 15, sold it for 615 and bought this combo package for 1.6. And then I'm in my office right now. That's part of the package too. So it was an amazing feeling, nerve wracking, the whole 9 yards, but it creates more financial freedom in the end.
Yeah, it's the first one's always amazing, but when you do so many damn deals and you got so many, you guys are looking at numbers every single day, it starts to become like, holy shit, which one are we talking about here?
Yeah,
that's funny. So talk to me, guys, as a whole, what are you guys doing on the day-to-day basis? I know you have multiple streams outside of this as well to kind of loop it all in.
So flash forward to when me and Mike started working together. We actually hooked up with one of the biggest, fix and flip investors in the Boston area that also runs a brokerage, and it's geared towards agent investors, right? So that's how we met. And at the time, he was doing crazy marketing and he was having certain agents go out on the appointments for him. So that's how we started learning about marketing and direct to seller off market, right?
Yeah.
And we were doing that. Mike was doing that. I was doing that. And then after a little bit of while of doing that, we were like, hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we know we can close. We know we go on these appointments. Let's team up and let's do it. So we started doing that about 4 years ago, right? And basically, we started off with an all-in-one package because we didn't really know what we know now. Obviously, you start growing, but we said, hey, let's try to do something that we can almost guarantee success. And actually, the company is right in the boardroom as now they've changed from when we started with them. They actually, changed and grew. But we got our first deal from direct mail. I think it was within 2 to 3 months, right, Mike?
Yeah, it was pretty quick. And it was, like you said, it was an all-in-one. So we had the mail goes out. There's a number on the mailing. The person calls the number. It goes to like what's called sales ninjas, being like a full package.
Sure.
And we ended up getting our first flip, which was, I've done flips before that, but this one in particular was a total disaster. However, we did manage to come out of it and do okay. So that kind of just fueled the fire a little bit and kind of got us saying, okay, this does work. But after so much time and joining different mentorships and talking to people, once we joined the boardroom, we realized that, okay, we need to kind of take this business in-house a little bit more and, hire our own ISA, which is someone who makes calls for us, and get an acquisition guy as well. So it kind of like, being around the right people in the right rooms kind of expands our business. And I that's too, Brandon, because it's the power of just that those people, just motivational people that drive you, after you're done with a call or a meeting, you're like on fire. So it's like, you know how it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's Kent has done a damn good job of getting some high level people in there. And yeah, I just got off a call with him a little bit ago, and it's always like shake your damn neck type of thing. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I needed.
Yeah, he's pretty, especially in those huddles. I don't know if you're on the line, but like he got into it with someone who said they were going to take a break for a little bit. And by the end of him being done talking about that, he's like, I'm definitely not going to quit right now. I'm going after it right after this call. So Kent's pretty intense. So good break. Shout out to him.
Yeah. I love it. Okay, so the main puppy, really, the main business here is going to be, again, some motivated leads that come in. So you guys do your own marketing at this point, get some hot leads, heavily discounted that you can wholesale. But the name of the game for you guys, because you guys are smart, is to try to, let's put it in some boxes of buying here and ideally try to keep some. And then if not, you can't wholesale it and they want to get top dollar, whatever it may be, then you kind of keep it all in-house by Jason. You have a brokerage that you can sell it on the MLS, correct?
Yeah. So I actually have a team still at the original brokerage me and Mike met at, and we're still here.
Yep.
And in our area, and in your area too is familiar, it's a higher price point than some countries. So listings can be some good income.
Yeah.
So undoubtedly, when you start going on these appointments, you realize some of these sellers are really more towards a retail. And if we only had the investment option, if that's the only thing we did, we weren't licensed, we didn't have a brokerage, that was it. That would be it. You're
leaving a lot on the table. Yeah.
Yeah. Brandon, at least half on the table.
Yeah.
Half?
So,
wow.
Yeah.
deals listings and they pay for the marketing. That's our last point of attack before we can't lock in a deal is the listing route, because obviously on the acquisition, like you can get some monster deals and we can get into some of the after. But yeah, I mean, it's huge. It really has kind of fueled the marketing for us to kind of keep us like, oh my God, the account's low. Hold on, let's get a couple listings to kind of juice it up a little bit. Yeah. But oh, absolutely.
So you guys are wholesaling, I'm sure, as well, right?
Right.
Yeah, because that's the bread and butter. So anybody out there that doesn't know it, if it's some carpet, paint, whatever, some light stuff, you can just put it on the market right away, sell it, and be good to go.
Yeah. We've actually just like even cleaned out the house, like, because it was just stuff everywhere. Just clean it out for $5,000, put it on the market. If we get the price we're looking for, great. If not, which we haven't had that issue, we pull it off and just do what we're going to do. But yeah, as least as possible is the best. But I mean, obviously, sometimes you got to get it done.
Yeah. And then as far as wholesaling goes, how many are you guys typically getting rid of on a monthly basis?
Well, we're not doing a ton per month, but each one of our deals has really good profit in them. In fact, the last wholesale we did, it was over a 6-figure, hit.
Yeah. And I love it.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about that. Like it almost doesn't seem real sometimes, but like when it's out, you're like, that actually just happened.
Yeah. We just made $100,000. Yes.
Right. Like, sometimes people don't think there's a lot to it. Like, because you're paying so much for marketing. So, I mean, yeah, that's a great hit. But if, a lot of that's going to be potentially taxed or whatever, unfortunately, and then we're going to pay for the marketing too. So, we're blessed to get those ones, but you got to take the little ones and the big ones and then hopefully be in the middle somewhere.
Yeah. You got to realize that, it takes a team. It's not just like you two. There's an army behind you guys. And it's also the KPIs. It's so important to know your KPIs so that you can actually see where are we at on the marketing? Where are we with the budget? The 100K looks great, right? It looks amazing. And for the broke people, it's going to be like, wow, the main ticket, right? Until you realize like, oh shit, it cost me 90 something grand to get this thing together over the last couple months. And it's like, whoa, that 100K isn't that much of a payout now. There's a lot of things that, keep the boat moving forward. Talk to me about the KPIs for a second. Talk to me about the team in general, because you guys are doing your own marketing or you still hire out certain services to be able to kind of automate.
Jason, I'll let you take that one and I'll lean in on anything else.
Yeah. So we're utilizing 2 channels of marketing right now. And we're going into our 3rd, which we haven't started just yet, but
nice.
Direct mail is what we started with, and then we added text. Now, if I was starting now, I might have done it the other way around. And there's reasons. I mean, obviously, the cost per lead, right, are much lower than direct mail. However, you're going to need a lot more of those leads to get a deal. So it's more time than money, right? And I think when it comes to marketing and paid marketing in general, it's time versus money, right? And there's going to be a combination of both. And the 3rd channel we're actually exploring and going into now is pay-per-click. So I can't really talk about that. But Mike, what is right now our cost per deal? It's higher than some parts of the country, but again, our profit per deal is much higher as well.
Cost per deal is closed deals probably close to $10,000. That's on the direct mail. However, our profit per deal is close to 50 per deal, included like a couple 20s here and there, and then a big one for 100. So, I mean, if you look at the total grand scheme of things, I mean, we're 5xing the money pretty much on that sense. And that's great. I mean, we do that all day. So that kind of makes the model make sense. Yeah. The texting, you get a way more leads from it, but it's kind of like you have to have some more inside sales, hitting them, calling them. A lot of them aren't good leads. The mailing ones, when they're calling you because you sent them a card and they actually want to sell. With the texting, it's kind of like a blast and, I'll sell my house for 20 million, you know what I mean? And once in a while, you get a great, don't get me wrong. I mean, we've gotten some crazy ones where, right in the beginning, I'm like, oh my God, launch is amazing. That's what we use, launch service. But then it kind of slowed down. And I think the truth is that, the direct mail is probably the best avenue when you start to generate money.
Yeah. And that might scare people originally because they say like 10K, oh God, it depends on your market. It's because our markets are so high, it is like 9,000, 10,000 out here for direct mail. That's just what it is to be able to get a deal. And it's not going to be like your first 10K. Like you might need to put out 20, 30, 40K, and then you start getting some,
you need systems and processes to stay on those leads, the right CRMs, the right, right people calling, setting the appointments. And then you have to have someone that can close them. I'm not trying to stress anyone out, but you're like, whoa, I just want the deal.
Yeah.
But like, you have to have the fire in you, really. You have to just go into it. I think me and Jason kind of hooked up, and it kind of helped a little bit because we both kind of already knew the game.
Yeah.
So it was kind of have each other a little bit to run things by each other. And we still do that,
Yeah.
We still question things like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
What are we doing today? Yeah. How are we going to do this?
Yeah.
We figured it out. That's all.
Yeah. And when we started, we both were like, we're burning the ships. We're putting this money in. We're going to burn it all. We're either getting deals and we're going to make money here, or we went and gave it the best shot we possibly could. Right. So,
and that's why it's been so damn profitable and beneficial, because you guys drew the line in the sand right from the start, and you realize like, hey, we're committed to this. And Mike, just like you mentioned, it's like everybody wants the end result, right? Like everybody wants the muscles. Nobody's willing to hit the gym,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why when people say, oh my God, you made 50 grand. You're like, you know what I've been doing to try to get
son of a...
But that being said, you come across an assignment deal, you can really do that with little money and risk.
Yeah.
So, so there's that too. I mean, obviously we do our fix and flips, so.
Yeah. And Jason, I don't want to cut you off, but like, just like what Jason was saying, like for anyone who's new, like you don't have to be the ones that are going to be doing the kind of marketing we did to start. We had the experience, so it helped a little bit. But there's so many other wholesalers out there that you can kind of not have to spend the marketing to get there. Obviously it's better to source your own deal. You know them, you met them, and you know where you stand right away, but you don't have to go that route. It's just an option.
That's good. Yeah. So, dive a little bit deeper with me on certain, just the tech stuff that you have, like the technology, the softwares that you guys are using, the CRM. And then I want to talk about some of the players that are kind of managing certain roles.
Absolutely. So we use a CRM. It's the one that we were familiar with at our brokerage. So we're familiar with it. Let's keep on using it. It's called Follow Up Boss.
Yep.
And it's really good, I think, for teams. So since we have a team at this point, we'll get to that in a little bit. But Follow Up Boss is our CRM. We use a text service, right, called Launch Control. And, that has the platform there. We mail through a company called Evergreen. And, we use for data, we're pulling data through a couple of different sources, PropStream and Smart. So now you need the addresses and you need to then skip trace them, right? So for the launch control, we pull the addresses for mail and then we have to skip trace them for launch control because you need the number, right? And we use a VA to do the skip tracing, right, Mike?
Correct. Yeah, we outsource the VA to skip trace. We send the list to another VA to enter it into launch to send out the automatic text messages to that particular list. So it's just like kind of a blast. You can only send a certain amount a day.
And by the way, VA, for those that don't know, that stands for virtual assistant.
Yes.
So they're working remotely.
I love it, Jason. Yeah. Thank you.
and what they're a good way, again, in the beginning, if you need a little bit of help of a task that it's like a $5, $6, $7 hour task that you can outsource and pay, believe it or not. And it's something very administrative and something somewhat easy. It will free up yourself, to do the $100 an hour or $500 an hour stuff that me and Jason feel like we're worth because we started from the ground up. But yeah. So Jason, if you want to get into just the structure of the team and stuff like that would be cool.
Absolutely. So when a lead comes in, we actually have another VA that his specialty is to call. But recently, we actually took on an acquisitions manager, and he's doing the calling and going out on the appointments.
Nice.
So we've got a little team right now. And then also we have some admin support that helps us with transaction coordination. And we have a listing coordinator that helps us with, some of the running around, things like that. But it really takes a great team effort for us at this point to keep the wheels going and just to be able to expand. But when you start, you're everything.
Oh, yeah. And it's really important to get to know each of the roles, I think, so that you can relate to the individuals that you're hiring on, create the SOPs as well. Even if you have, like, you hire on eventually some experts in each space that's already been doing it, and you tweak it a little bit here and there, have them create the SOPs, and then you want to go through it again.
Brandon, what is an SOP for those that don't know?
Yeah, exactly. So you're breaking down your standard operating procedures, right? And making sure that it's funny because anybody out there that doesn't know, it's like a little side thing.
Last boardroom, I should know what that means, right? So I'm like, everyone's talking about the SOP thing. I'm like,
what's SOP?
Yeah.
I'm like, SOP? Like,
yeah,
what?
yeah. Like, wait, one question, guys.
Yeah. So, the lingo, for people out there, that's just standard operating procedure, which I know. And you need one. You need to have, and we're working on that too. And everything comes in stages, just like anything. And we've been doing this for 3 years. And I think that, we could have got here a little faster if we were mentored a little bit more in the beginning. But because we're in this mentorship program with Kent, we feel like, we'll hold accountable to each presentation we have to do. Okay, what did you do last time to get to, So,
Yeah.
it's huge to have somebody or some kind of mentorship at driving you a little bit too. But that's kind of higher level stuff. You can start with nothing and make it here.
Yeah. So let's just talk about the process for a second. You guys, you're getting the data from PropStream and Smart, sending it over to the VA, doing some skip tracing, and then sending over to another VA that uploads it into the software, the CRM launch control as well. And then basically blasting it out. When the leads start coming in, who takes the calls? And do you guys have a call center, or do you guys taking it yourself and then going out to the appointment?
Great question. Yeah. So we do utilize a few other telephone type services. One's called CallRail. And this is so we can track which number is to which market. So we have a call number on the launch. So even though we're texting through launch, some people will actually dial it back. So when they dial it back, we know they're calling from the launch market. Okay. But then also on all of our mailings, depending in different lists, each one of them will have a dedicated number. So when they call those numbers, we have an answering service. It's called Pat Live. It's 24/7 answering service. And what happens is when that call comes in, our acquisitions teams, which includes our ISA, ourselves, and the acquisition manager, will get an instant notification email, and that actually gets zapped through a service called Zapier.
What is that?
Right. Right into follow-up.
Zapier from the Patriots, Jason?
What we're talking about?
See, now we're just having in-house screw around, having fun here, which I love.
Hey, you know what?
It's fun.
Yeah. So this is great at the end of the day. And you guys have just got on a new guy that's kind of running out and handling these leads. I'm sure, Mike, you're still kind of training him up a little bit, right? And making sure he can close.
Yeah, we're both training him too. And what we really kind of implemented now is we do a Zoom call. We got the 2 VAs on, the acquisition guy, Jason and I, 11 o'clock every day. We're on there. And I think it's just been great because it's like, okay, what's up? What kind of questions do you have? The cool thing about follow-up boss is we get to listen to the phone calls that they make. So, if there's some things I'm like, we can offer guidance. So we're teaching them as we're going along rather than just kind of anticipating it, know? So that's been good. And, staying on the same page with the people on your team is huge.
Yeah. Fellas, talk to me for a second. When it comes down to the daily meetings, as well as you obviously making the time to listen to their calls and so forth, the dedication to that, how beneficial or how crucial do you think those things are?
Yeah, it's really a game changer because we're trying to improve. We're not there yet, 100%. Believe me, I don't think anyone ever is, right? But we're always just making little improvements. And sometimes we make big improvements, but some days it's like you feel like you're taking a step back, but we're always trying to strive and move forward. So when we get on these calls, we're able to identify some benefits and negatives of our systems and processes. And we're actually developing that as we go, and we're improving it. So we'll have an after appointment analysis. We'll go over, hey, how that appointment went. We'll go over, listen to some of the calls. And this is actually something that is relatively new for us, but it's really, really been getting us moving, getting all the team together, getting congruent on everything, and really just getting on the same page.
Yeah. I think building that culture, right, is so crucial. It's so necessary and needed, and getting the questions answered, having everybody feel heard, accepted, like understood, right? All these things are crucial. And you can also eliminate some of the issues and problems a heck of a lot sooner instead of letting it go a week, 2 weeks, or never getting addressed to begin with, right? So I think these things are very crucial for any person's success.
Brandon, that's a great point, because before we joined the boardroom and met you guys, we actually hit a roadblock in our business, and we felt stagnant for a while. And we know now not to do this, but we kind of like, what's going on? We didn't take action, immediate action. And one of the things we learned is you got to take a real good look at your current actual KPIs in real time and make adjustments quickly. You can't just sit around and like, now we might be even too quick. We're like, wait a minute, we didn't get any calls. Should we change the whole plan? We're talking and we're looking at it like really, really closely and know when we should adjust or be a little bit patient. And you just start to get a feel for that type of stuff the more you do it,
Yeah, that's good. I love it. Man, there's so much power behind this. What are you guys looking to accomplish moving forward? Because now, like, you guys aren't going blind anymore, right? Like the stagnant feeling before, and now that you're in a mastermind group, now that you're getting the education, you're getting like the proper things necessary. You're about to launch out into a new marketing channel with PPC. There's a lot of opportunities coming up. You guys have an excellent buyers list, even in today's market. Like, how the hell are they doing it, right?
I think, and I'm going to speak on this, but Mike, I think might agree, but we're really pushing to get more rentals. And we're taking every income channel, the brokerage income from the wholesaling and fix and flip income, moving that along. Oh. And we got a great story from just a single family, basically wholesale deal we did. That was a short term. It happened to be a single family, but it was a rental when we bought it. What we did was we 1031'd into that one family into a 9-unit building with 8 rentable garages. All right.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So, and then for about a year, we held on to that property, kind of stabilized it. Market helped us out. Take advantage when you can. Right. But obviously you want to make sure you're going into something that cash flows.
Yes.
We then sold that in 1031 into our project we're doing now. We just closed on recently a 16-unit portfolio. And the way that's set up, it's actually 4 buildings, and 2 of them are smaller, 2 2-unit buildings and 2 6-unit buildings. So our plan there is we're going to sell off the smaller ones and really have these remaining 6 units. And we're going to be able to 1031 from those 2 smaller ones into bigger. What's the goal on units on this, Mike? We're trying to get over 25 next time, right? From
30. Yeah.
32,
so
right? 30.
Let's go big, baby.
Always say more, okay? Never less, all right?
That's right.
But Brent, for one deal, and this might not happen in someone's lifetime, but we were playing the game. So when you're playing the game, things happen, right? So I mean, for one,
gotta play the game. That's the important part here.
Get the hell off the bench, all right?
Yeah.
All right, because then you're on the bench. I don't know, no playing times, no hoops, right?
Yeah.
But from one deal that we wholesale, double closed on to 9 to 16 to 30, which is going to happen 100%.
Damn
and
right.
by the way,
that's 2 years. That's 2.5 years.
It's on, right? I mean, overall, we're talking maybe 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
So it didn't
quit.
One, but I mean, you know what? You have to be there. I mean, and people always whoever says it's luck, it's not. I mean, you can get lucky scratching a scratch to get great, but you know what? You're probably going to scratch a lot of them, right? So if you're scratching a lot of mailings and text messaging houses, then you're probably going to get lucky on one of them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We had an analogy, but I mean, similar, right?
No, it's exactly what it is. I mean, the odds are way better though than the scratch off. So it's like, you just got to play the game. The deals are out there. But I love it that you started off with very little to nothing. And then, with one flip turned it into what you have now. And what is the 16-unit cash flow, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I mean, it's not good right now.
It's not stabilized yet. Yeah.
It's not stabilized yet. And the point of the price that we got it for, we have an interest-only loan. There's always a planning process, right? So, I mean,
so the long run, though, what is the pro forma? And I know it's a realistic pro forma versus like what you find on LoopNet type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, with the portfolio, if we decide to keep the whole package, which we're not going to, I think we're probably close to like maybe a 9 cap, 10 cap at the price we for, which is exceptionally well, but it's not really our long-term goal. We're going to sell it all off and try to, double the amount of units.
I love it.
Hey, go big or go home.
That's right. That's right. But most importantly, take action, dream big, and you'll see it unfold in front of your eyes in just a short number of years. That's the power behind getting yourself in big rooms, thinking bigger, and really not feeling that stagnantness anymore, right? Like that painful feeling of like, shit, like, is this fulfilling or not? Are we doing something here? Are we making an impact? Are we helping people? I don't know.
Sometimes you do feel that sometimes, even though you're doing well, like you do have those down days. Yeah. I mean, you have to
that's life.
Yeah. It's life. You have, luckily fortunate that Jason is a partner. I mean, if I'm having a crappy day, we're bullshitting about something and then, it's like, oh, whatever, it is what it is, bring each other up and make it happen. That's all.
Damn right. I love it.
And Brandon, as you know, you have a great partner too, right?
I got a life partner, business partner. We're locked in. So it's perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Honestly, like what's funny behind that is that we're so opposite, and that's how typically like good partnerships work. But it really comes down to like typically when it's my bad day, it's like her amazing day and vice versa. And that's how we're the yin and yang. Like we always pull each other up. And as long as we have the same goal, the same vision, and really know what the end looks like and the impact we're making, like we're dedicated to it. We're willing to put in the hard work because we know that there's going to be tough times with whatever we do, whether we're working for somebody else, doing, Joe Blow work over here, or like actually doing something that's meaningful and impactful in the long run. So we're willing to put in the hard work today and in the future to really live how we want, with who we want, wherever we want, and so much more, and make the impact in so many other people's lives as well, just like you guys are. So, dude, I appreciate you guys greatly. I love your guys' energy as always. We always have a blast together, and you guys kicked our ass in beer pong a couple weeks ago. So I'm really still butthurt from that, but
you always get
I'm not going to let up on that.
Yeah. Well, I love you guys, man. I appreciate you guys so much for jumping on here. You just gave an hour of your time. Anything that myself or the listeners could do to give back to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you want to hook up with us, you can find us both on Facebook or the socials, right?
Yeah.
Mike Wetherbee, Jason Goldfarb. We're more than happy to message back and forth and help anyone out, give any good advice we can. One of the things that I think that we've been helped a lot and mentored is we like to help people and mentor people ourselves. And there's always someone starting at a step below you or even newer. And then there's always, you can't compare. I think at the end of the day, you just have to really compete with yourself.
Yeah.
But it's good to do it with a group of people. And, you're in this business for yourself, but not by yourself. Right. And I think that's how you really grow. It's more fun that way at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I totally agree with Jason. I'm 100% that you need to give back because, you start somewhere and you're growing. So, I mean, we were taught, might as well teach it down. I mean, and I think it's important to be around the right people, just like your business too, be in the credit industry, like whoever wants to get into that needs to be with you, and with guidance because that's what you do. Right. So, we do something and this business, you work with the credit. I mean, and you're the boss there. So you make sure, your listeners know that, what you're doing and you've been very successful as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, you guys are rock stars. I love all the value you guys bring. I'm just so freaking excited that you guys aren't stagnant anymore like the past and you guys are ready and like you're well on track, crushing it in all areas, about to open up another marketing channel. And just the value that you guys bring to the people that you're employing and the impact that you're making nationwide. It's awesome. So appreciate you guys greatly. Guys, if by all means, reach out to both Mike and Jason. It's a no-brainer. They'll help put any little missing pieces that you need together. And they're just amazing human beings in general. So If you guys want to reach out to me and connect with me, you can always do so on Instagram. It is Brandon Elliott Investments. Otherwise, facebook.com/Brandon Elliott Investor. If you're looking to really get educated on credit, I'm talking fixed credit very quickly, but more importantly, get several six figures in funding at 0% interest, personal and business. Be able to truly get 400,000 or 500,000 in new lines of credit, and do that every 6 months for yourself so that you can leverage it into true assets like real estate or really whatever is holding you back. Like if you have some goals and money is holding you back to get there, then allow us to show you how to do it with credit and travel hacking, life insurance, so many different things that you can play around with. So with that being said, check out creditcounselelite.com. That's www.creditcounselelite.com. You'll be able to watch our webinar where we dive into for about an hour 15 minutes, showing you exactly the full possibilities. But if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. Love all the support as always. That 5-star review means the world to us. Merry Christmas, guys. Love y'all so much. Mike, Jason, you guys are the best. You guys are beasts. Keep crushing it. Stay blessed.
Great one.
All right.
See you.
Bye.
This has been another episode of Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, brought to you by Brandon Elliott. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Also, please don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Thanks again for joining. Until next time, God bless.